My name is Shannon Kiser, and I am with Fresh Expressions. I am the Director of U.S. Ministries and Training for Fresh Expressions. I also am a pastor in a local church outside of Washington, D.C. We're a quirky little church. I'll tell you a little bit about us in my time, although I don't want to get too in the weeds about who we are and kind of how we do things, because you're not us. You're you. God doesn't want you to be, God doesn't want you to be me, and God doesn't want you to be the church that I serve. God wants to be you in the church that you serve. As we get started this afternoon, I promise, I know that this is the after lunch time, and man, it's like nap time. I'm actually kind of, I don't know, sort of grateful for the weather, because none of you, like, if it were a spring day, there would be like 3 of you left. But now you're like, it's too dang cold to go outside anyway, so I might as well stay and listen to what Shannon has to say. I'm going to pass around this clipboard and invite you, if you want to get on the Fresh Expressions weekly newsletter list, we would love to get your email, and we can start sending those out to you. Matt and different ones of us, we send out blog articles. You know, you do some prayer things. Like, we just try to seed out some things we're learning, and stories we're hearing, and videos that are out there. We'd love to send that to you. And so if you sign up on that, I have some books to give away to 3 random people who are on that list. So if you'll put your name on there, the computer system doesn't need your name, but it would be very awkward for me to call out an email as the winner, you know. Johnny482 at gmail.com just doesn't have the ring to it as your name. So, but I do want to call out, let's see, who is it? Dick and Linda Schlee. Where are Dick and Linda Schlee? Where are they? Okay, come here. I just need, you all are going to receive this book, because these were the first registrants for this conference. These are the first ones who saw them all call, and they're like, we're in. And I look, because, you know, a lot of us are like waiting out to see, like, do we get a better offer or anything better out there before we sign up? And Dick and Linda were on it from the very beginning. What I gave them is it's not a Fresh Expressions book, but a friend of mine wrote a book on devotionals for leaders, so that's what it is. All right. As we get started, it would really just help me to know, excuse me, what are some things that have stuck with you from the last couple of sessions? I mean, Victor blew our minds with hope and courage earlier. Matt gave us a new vision for the church last night. I'd love to just hear a few of you call out some things that are still sticking with you, that are resonating with you, or that you're just kind of thinking about and chewing on. Just, what's that? Opportunity, not scarcity. Thank you. What else have we got?
Remember who we're fighting.
Remember who we're fighting. And it's not supposed to be each other, right? Yeah, remember who we're fighting. What else?
Kindness.
Kindness. Good. What else?
Instead of disseminating this information, invite people into an experience.
Yes, a power of experience. Good. What else?
Moving out of the church.
What?
Moving outside.
Moving outside of the church. That's kind of really something you're wrapping your mind around. Good.
Cooperation, not competition.
Ooh, cooperation, not competition. Boom. Anything else?
Get more involved in the community.
Yeah, get more involved in the community. Good. All right, it just helps me to know and I'm going to try to continue what Matt and Victor have started here. And I want to start with a story. I have two young adult daughters. One is graduated from college and off the dole. So she has a real life adult job, and she's living the dream. Well, not really. She's living adulting in Richmond. She has to pay her own car insurance now. So, but anyway, she had a friend who came to her. My other daughter's at Virginia Tech in college. So this daughter, her name is Catherine. Catherine had a friend come to her and say, hey, I saw the total solar eclipse in, 2017 or something like that? And she's like, it was amazing. As a matter of fact, and this is what her friend told her, your adult friend, it was life-changing. When I saw the solar eclipse, the total eclipse, it was life-changing. So this friend of hers had gotten a campsite in Ohio. Where's Ohio? Ohio in the house? Ohio in the house. She got a campsite in Ohio, and she said, you know what? As a matter of fact, you should come with me. Can you get a tent? And my daughter's like, yeah, I think we got one in my parents' basement, which we do. And she's like, it was that amazing? And her friend said, yeah, it was that amazing. So she said, okay, I'll take off work and I'll come on this adventure with you. And this girl said the same thing to two other friends. So now there's a whole car full of them going to Ohio to see the total eclipse. Okay, who saw the total eclipse? My daughter said it was one of the coolest things she has ever seen in her whole life. Do you know why she got to experience it? Because her friend invited her. Do you know there was nothing in her that had made plans to go to Ohio before the eclipse. We've been hearing all about it and stuff, but it's not like she made special plans. It wasn't even on her radar. But she had a friend who told her this was life-changing. Man, you got to experience it. And she invited her on this adventure. And I want us to think about two things. If we think life with Jesus is so life-changing, why aren't we inviting people on the adventure with us? And I wonder if sometimes it's because it doesn't even feel like that of a great of an adventure to us. I was talking to a church group recently, and they're small and tired, and I asked them, I was like, does church feel more like a duty or a joy? And they didn't even hesitate. They're like, duty. I don't think that was God's dream for the church. Gotta do this duty. I think it was supposed to be adventure. Not that it was fun all the time, but that it was life-changing. And so I wonder, just as we think about this topic today, we're talking about growing new followers of Jesus in a post-church age, how to make disciples when the wind is against us. I wonder if possibly we can begin to think about this as an adventure, this is the deepest purpose of our church. It's not about making budget. It's about making disciples. So here's what I want you to do. As I told you, this is not going to be a one-way conversation here because we've done a lot of sitting and listening. So I want you to stand up. What did you come up with? What are some things you heard that we should all hear? Walking alongside each other. Great. Being intentional. Listening. Yep, over here.
Reaching
out and invite them to church and getting to know them at their level, being a good role model, sharing experiences and knowing the Bible and studying it with them, and showing them God in our own lives and stepping out of our
Man, that's awesome. Y'all like wrote a term paper back there. That is so good. Yeah, back here.
People following Jesus in such a way that more people want to follow Jesus because of them, and those people then inspire others to follow Jesus because of them.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like this domino effect, right? Yeah, up here.
Okay, I learned that the first thing you have to do is to walk it out with them. In that process, there's 3 L's: like, learn, and listen. And you have to be a great coach because they already have it in them. We just have to pull it out.
Yeah, I want you to hear that, like mic drop. They already have it in them. Like we're not bringing Jesus to people. Jesus is already active. You know, I mean, and sometimes it's just connecting the dots, right? Yeah. No, that's really good. You know, when you think about the Great Commission, it says, I received all authority in heaven and earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything that I've commanded you. And then, you know, look, I myself will be with you always until the end of the age. The imperative, there's 4 verbs in that, in the commission. It's go and make disciples, baptizing and teaching, right? Only one of those is actually in the Greek an imperative. Everything else describes something about the imperative. Guess which one is the imperative? No, it's make disciples, and it assumes that you're going. As you go, assuming that you're already going, make disciples. And then how might you do that? Teaching them, baptism is the sign and symbol of God's work, intersecting with our openness to receive what God is offering. Teaching is like understanding, as you all said, like a disciple is a learner. Apprenticing in the Word and in the practices and priorities of Jesus. It doesn't say teach a Sunday school lesson this way, right? By baptizing and teaching and going, we're going to be able to make disciples, which is the imperative. It's not a moment in time, it's a journey. So, if you think about, like, I was in the airport yesterday, as a matter of fact, and one of the things you see in an airport is a moving sidewalk, right? And if you know when you're walking on the moving sidewalk and you feel like Superman or Superwoman because you feel like you're like, but if you walk the other direction, it's like you're standing still, like you're not going anywhere, right? So what I want to think about for a moment is how that might be a metaphor for what it's like to make disciples in this postmodern culture we find ourselves in when we feel like the wind is against us or we're walking backwards on a moving sidewalk. So what I want you to do is I want you to get up again and I want you to find somebody else to talk to, maybe just partner up, and I want you to talk about this question. What's making it so hard to make disciples right now? Yeah, I'd love for you all to keep up this conversation, but as I think about this, we've got a couple of discipleship issues. We have a discipleship issue inside of our churches and a discipleship issue outside of our churches. And the discipleship inside our churches, I think, is that we tend to make discipleship all about the accumulation of knowledge. And in that way, it's become like really disconnected from our everyday life and our everyday behaviors. So Matt usually tells a story about one of the people in his congregation who, like, we did discipleship 1, I did discipleship 2, I did discipleship 3, I got this certificate of all of this knowledge I have, and I volunteered for everything, and he's like, is this all there is? Where's the adventure in that? And I think, and a lot of times our discipleship journey that we have people on is accumulate knowledge, volunteer for our stuff because we're desperate for volunteers, and then if you're really good at it, then like if we've made a really awesome disciple, then we ask them to be on our board. And so it's like serving our system. We're creating disciples, we're making disciples who know a lot and will fill the needs of our stuff. And that's a problem. And then outside, the discipleship problem outside of our church is that we often don't know how to engage with people who don't speak our church language. And we don't know, like somebody said, social anxiety. We don't know how to have natural conversations with people about things that are deep or things of our faith. I was just talking to a guy on Sunday. He's like the churchiest guy I know. He does the budgets for our regional body. Like, that does not get any more like church nerdy than that. I thank you for all you church nerds who do that. And he finds himself in this super peculiar position where he's helping out with a church a missional initiative in a community of young families. He's a 70-year-old meteorologist, and he was talking with me. He said, Shannon, I just realized, like, I don't know how to talk about the things of my faith in a language that this diverse community that has no connection with church whatsoever in a way that they can understand it. He's like, I didn't go to seminary. He's like, I hate to break it to you, but seminary doesn't teach that to you either. But the good news is that Fresh Expressions presses into both of these challenges. So I'm going to have us watch a parable by way of an IKEA commercial. And I want you to think about what this might have to say to the church who understands that our calling is to be on an adventure with God, making disciples.